Step one to having a perfectly tied belt. Step one, train it. Fold it in half, and fold it in half again, and then fold it in half again. Over time, your belt will develop a well-worn bend in your belt. So what happens is when it comes time to tie your belt, you can easily grab it at one of the bends, depending on your size, and it'll be very easy to know the exact correct distance to tie the belt on. So you don't have to worry about it being unbalanced. So look, as you can see, my belt is basically balanced because from the bends in the belt, I can tell where to tie it. Now, the perfectly tied belt, in my opinion, does two things. First thing is, if you notice, because I wrapped it around my waist, the belt doesn't cross. The second thing is, I tuck the ends of the belt between the layers of the belt. And what that does is, it provides a hold. So the more pressure I push on my belt, the tighter this hold is, which means my belt stays tied. So, and if I need to tighten it up, it's very easy. I don't have an ugly knot. I can just grab the two loops of the knot, pull it tight, and then gently pull this. What happens then is the knot here is flat, and therefore if I fall on my belly, I don't have a lump pushing into my belly. Now, traditionally, you'll see people take their belt. They'll grab it by the middle, put it around, wrap it around, and then tie it off however they tie it, and people do it many different ways. You know, here I'm just doing it as a mess, right? And you see this a lot. Now you can see it's crossed here. And this never holds. This always falls open, and you know, it's great in competition if you want to take a breather. You know, you tie your belt this way because you know it's just going to fall open. Anyway, one more time. So, my name, I start with it on my left because when I finished, it will be on my right, and the club name will be on my left. But to start the tie, I grab it at the natural bend point that is formed from me training my belt. If your belt has a label, it's going to be on your right, but it starts on the left. So I put it over my waist, I wrap it around, cross my hands, so that way I can bring it around front. Now I don't need to hold it because I'm holding it with the tension. Wrap it around again, and then I tuck it underneath everything. So now it comes over and above. Okay, center it if I need to. It's balanced. Now what I do is with, again, the right hand side, I just roll it over like this so it makes a little loop and the label is still facing outwards. Then I just take this in and I put it through that loop. So now what happens is it's tied, but because I haven't yet tucked it through the loops, through the belt, it will just fall open. So what I do is I take my fingers, I put them between the belt layers from the bottom, and I take this end and I just push it through. And then I use my fingers, because here it's a bit lumpy, so I use my fingers to slide the belt through, so now it's nice and flat. It's not twisted, it's not crossed. Same thing, I tuck my fingers between the layers of the belt, and I take this end, I just push it through. Pull it through, and then I use my fingers to slide it along until they're tucked in nicely. Now, I can just take the two loops, pull, and then just gently pull them tight. And there we are. So the benefit of tying it this way as well is if your belt is a bit short, like this belt, well, okay, maybe I'm a bit fat today, but this belt here, if I do it crossed, it ends up looking like this because that takes up extra length of my belt. But when I do it this way, I get the full length of my belt, all the characters show, and everything's peachy. And taking it off is very easy, just done. Piece of cake. And when you're finished, fold it in half, fold it in half, and then one more time. That's it. Let me get the other belt. This belt here size 5, bit shorter. So if I do the same, if I do it the way most people do, wrap it around, tie it up, you see it's getting a bit short. Okay? Looks like shit. But if I do it this way, label, name, isn't that interesting? I never noticed before. Label on the left, wrap it around, pull it. Now tuck it underneath both layers and bring it up. Use my thumb for that. Length is equal. I just take it and I flip it over, which naturally makes the loop, and pull. Now to finish it, tuck it between the layers. Tuck it between the layers. Pull. Let's say it's a bit short for me. And there we are. It's still a bit short. And that's it. And this will stay tied. You know, and it looks really neat. And you can show everyone how talented you are with tying a proper belt. That's it.